By commenting on this episode today, you could be in with the chance of winning 2 board games, Lincoln and Quartermaster General, The Cold War, both from PSC Games. Jump in. Good morning and welcome, guys, to another episode of The Weekender. Your chance to sit back and relax while we talk about gaming. Right, guys, a couple of updates just before we get stuck in. Next Friday, on the 14th, we're doing a live stream called The General's Table with our historical editor, Jim Johnson. We are going to be taking questions live. It's undoubtedly going to be about Desert War in World War II.
Yep. Yeah. If you remember, we did this once before with Jim, where myself, John, and Jim sat down and just had a good bit of a chinwag about what was going on with one of his article series. We're going to be doing something very similar here, which should be a lot of fun. So if you have your questions, get them ready, get them lined up, and be ready this Friday. Friday the 14th.
Friday the 14th, okay? As well as that, on the topic of live streams, we are taking on Monpoc.
Yes.
So Monsterpocalypse.
Yes.
So we have 2 live streams coming up over the next 2 weeks. This is a super grudge match.
You know, the new kid on the block kind of has to get his spurs right.
Yeah,
now.
so we have Ryan, who's been heading up our board game coverage. Incredible guy and a really talented player too. And Ryan and Justin are going head to head for a live Monsterpocalypse battle next Tuesday at 6 p.m.
It's board game versus war game.
But it is that game that's kind of fun both.
Oh, it's going to get better than that, because the following Tuesday they're switching armies and they're going at it again. So this is going to be full on. I will be tuning into that one. Do tune into that. Pick your side. Is it going to be Justin or is it going to be this?
Did you got it the wrong way around?
I did. Oh, man. It's going to be
What were you saying there, Ben?
I was going to say, this is going to be better than KSI versus Logan Paul, hands down.
Oh,
hell yeah!
By far.
Absolutely.
Although,
I need a Rocky training montage, like, right now.
Can I just watch a clip of Logan Paul getting punched in the face repeatedly, please?
You will be able to soon.
That would be my happy place.
I have watched that. That was round 6.
Has it already happened?
Oh, it's already happened. Yeah.
Oh, right. Who won?
It was a
draw.
It was a technical draw.
What?
It was a technical draw. There's a rematch. There was always going to be 2 fights, but there's a rematch scheduled for Vegas, I believe. And it was actually
that money for all it's worth.
It was entertaining. And
did they actually go at it?
Yeah, as amateur boxing matches go. You know, for a couple of guys, one, it was his second time in the ring.
Right.
For a professional amateur fight, and for Logan Paul, it was his first time in the ring.
Yeah.
And Paul came out fighting. You know, it's like I didn't rate either of them, to be honest, before the thing. But Logan Paul came out fighting, won the first couple of rounds. You know, I would look at it and say, yeah, he won the first couple of rounds. The KSI then started to KSI has a better stamina, I think. So basically what happened is I think Paul started to tire a little bit, and certainly by round 6,
I'm tired of him.
If it had went on any longer, you would have had a knockout, no doubt, because Logan Paul was utterly wrecked by round 6 and KSI was destroying him by that stage. But on points, it came out a technical draw, which, you know, for the story, I think it's cool. It is cool.
Nah, I don't like it.
No, you're going to have to start watching this, Justin, because
I'm curious to see him get his ass
Remember, every nasty comment that we get now, we're going to track him down and challenge him to a boxing match on your behalf. So it's like...
I need to work
like
out
Jay
more.
and Silent Bob.
So we could call ourselves the Kill Team, Justin. We'd be Kill Team. On the topic of Kill Team, at 11 a.m. today. I know, man, it had to happen. On the topic of Kill Team, at 11 a.m. today, we are unboxing Kill Team Rogue Trader. If you've been waiting for this one, I thought it's...
Oh, no, you got... Go, Jay!
Am I going to...
Put it away!
It's your own box. Oh, have a look at this, guys. Oh, it's so awesome. Tune at 11. The guys will take you through
Yeah,
it.
Sam.
I'm waiting for the emails.
I'm just waiting to just see the hair go grey. Just
Right, we've had a guest
yes.
in this week. We've had the wonderful Katie has been in from PSC Games, and she's been playing some games on camera. But we got an opportunity. One of you guys got an opportunity to sit down with Katie and find a little bit more out about what they're up to.
Yep.
And there's a prize as well.
Hello everybody, I have been joined by Katie from Plastic Soldier. Katie, welcome to the show. It's an absolute pleasure to have you across.
Thanks for having me.
Now, we've got you in to have a bit of a sit-down chat about the latest and greatest of what you guys have been up to.
Yeah.
So, well, I'll tell you what, actually, first off, if you'd like to introduce yourself to everybody, tell them what your role within the company is, just so we know who we're talking to.
Hi, I'm Katie, and I work for PSC Games, which is the board game kind of side of Plastic Soldier Company, and I'm primarily in charge of social media and marketing, but I do a bit of game development and whatever else they need me to do on top of that as well. So.
See, I like companies where you can sort of multi-role and have your finger in many pies.
Yeah, well, we're so small that it's that kind of place where we just all dig in when we have to and help each other out. So.
Yeah. Well, you've seen us in here while you've been here this week.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay, so what is your background in gaming then? Because I'm very curious to see just what sort of area of gaming you've came from to actually jump into a company like this.
Yes, it's funny. So I started off. I don't actually play miniature war games. I'm really interested in it now, but it's not really my background. I've played a lot of board games, and I used to work for Estevium, which are one of the biggest distributors in the UK.
Yeah, we know them very well.
And I started as a demoer, just demoing at different shows for them, and then just kind of worked my way up, was working in sales, that kind of thing. So that kind of stopped. I then still carried on playing board games, but wanted to go freelance in the industry.
Ah, I see.
And so for quite a while, I've been working freelance in the industry, so doing like game development, doing Kickstarters, so running different Kickstarters for different companies, a bit of design. And within that time, I fell in love with historical board games.
Nice.
So I played Twilight Struggle, that kind of opened the door for me. And then I just became a bit obsessed, wanted to consume everything. And then very recently, so I've only been at PSC for like a month and a half, maybe.
Ish.
Really new. And we've had Gen Con in between that. We've had other stuff, so really new. But Will, who created Plastic Soldier Company, he lives near me. And we just got introduced by someone who kind of like, you both like war games. Play war games. So we met up for a coffee, for a game, and we just hit it off. And
fabulous.
Now I'm here. So
now, this is something I'm curious about for actually getting into the gaming industry.
Yeah.
I've seen it a few times recently where people who have been demoing games have then jumped into companies that they've been demoing for.
Yes.
Would you see that as a good way to actually sort of get yourself out there so that you can get to know companies, because we're really a social industry? Definitely.
I think it's not just who you know, it is about hard work and what you know. But I think just definitely you can agree with me, networking in this industry is huge. So it's good to kind of have your face around at shows, meeting new people, and you just get that first-hand experience. So with Plastic Soldier Company, it's great that I've kind of come in at a higher level, but it's taken a lot to learn all the games and learn all the processes. Whereas with Estevium, because I was on the floor, that was my job. I knew everything inside out.
Yeah.
So I could kind of relate that and had context when I was working in different areas. So it's really useful to do it that way, actually.
Well, it seems like a great way to build that depth of knowledge and actually show off the passion you have for the games that you're going to be working with.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's start talking about what's been happening with Plastic Soldier Company.
Yeah.
So what will be your biggest thing coming up soon?
So Essen is around the corner. So
we're going. We are going.
I'll be there. We'll be there as well. So we've been kind of working on Essen, get my words out, and just two new releases. So we had a Kickstarter in May for Lincoln.
So
there we go.
Yeah.
So that's an Essen release, that was funded back in May. So we've just been playing that, getting all the marketing, all that kind of stuff ready, all the manufacturing, and just getting up to speed for Essen.
Well, quick question then. What's the exact type of game that Lincoln is? Because I mean, like, I can assume we're looking Civil War. Or no, sorry. Would it be? Yeah, it would be Civil War.
Yes, it's Civil War, American Independence, whatever you'd like to call it. It's a 2-player.
Well, no, that's 2 wars.
Oh, it is. Sorry, Civil War. Sorry, getting confused now. Civil War. It's a 2-player card destruction or deconstruction. Some call it either. Game by Martin Wallace. It's a strategy game, but it's got a kind of underlying war game feel. So it really takes inspiration from historical board games. So it's not necessarily a straight-on war game, but it's got that feel. So there is combat. You are fighting with units, that kind of thing, and it's card driven, so you're drawing cards and spending different cards to take actions in the game.
Now, this is actually an era of history I've always been very curious about. I love watching like documentaries and stuff like that, and actually seeing the actual political structure that was actually behind everything happening and seeing the progression of the war. I mean, like, whenever I've watched documentaries on this, what I generally get is the North had lots of money, lots of stuff, and lots of people, but the generals were incompetent.
Yes.
The South was kind of the opposite. The generals were amazing, but their equipment and troops not so good.
And it actually really shows that in the game. So Ryan and I played a game earlier, and we filmed it.
Don't give away the results.
Well, we won't give away the result. But we played a game earlier and we filmed it, and because I'm quite new to the company, I'm still learning. Yep. I've only played it a couple of times, and it was so interesting to actually see that play out, and it was so thematic. So it wasn't necessarily historically accurate, because that doesn't always make for the best gameplay, but you could see that really coming through.
Well, it's one thing myself and John discuss all the time whenever it comes to bringing historical games to the tabletop.
Yeah.
You have representation versus recreation.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes to like board games and stuff, I'm expecting a representation that I can play about in rather than a recreation that's just going to feed me what happened in history.
Definitely, because there's always that conversation about being historically accurate, but sometimes it's really just boring. I shouldn't say boring, but sometimes...
Depends. Some people, that's their fun.
But as a game developer, historic miniatures might be a bit different, but in board games, it's just flat. So it's about making that exciting for everybody. Yeah. So not calling anyone boring, but it's just about making a game that is thematic but still enjoyable for everyone.
Well, for me, board games that are historical, it's an abstracted sort of narrative window that you're looking into that period of history. But it's that question of what would you do with the troops or the actual equipment that you had on hand? How would you actually deploy your forces compared to what the generals actually did in history?
Yeah.
And how would your strategy have played out compared to theirs?
Exactly. It's really fun.
Yeah. Okay, next game. Oh, Cold War. Nice.
Cold War. So another
Warren
one we
is
played.
Love this one.
Yes, another one we played. So this is really interesting. So this is by Ian Brody. So he designed this and all of the Quartermaster General series. This is the newest game. This was recently on Kickstarter as well. Like the week I started, which was fun. Jumping straight into Kickstarter. So this is another Essen release.
Yep.
This is a 3 to 6 player game, which I really like.
Now, important question. Some of these games, there's a certain amount of balancing. So is it 3-2-6 or is it 3 or 6?
3-2-6.
3-2-6. Okay.
Yes. So you've got the Soviets, the West, and the non-aligned, and you have 2 decks which you can put into one. So if there's one of you playing, you will just play through the whole deck. It's a card-driven game again. Or if there's 2 of you in each side, or 2-2-1, you'll play the whole deck.
Gotcha.
So it's quite nice. You can split it, or you can have the whole thing for yourself.
Right. Do we have MAD in this game? Mutually assured destruction.
Yes.
Can we launch nukes?
Yes, we can launch nukes. So, which is quite fun. You can see... Oh, we haven't got any out, but yes, you can. So we played this yesterday. We've been playing a lot of games for work. And it's really fun to see it unfold because it's quite light and it's not a war game, but it's got that theme. So there's no actual like head-on-head or face-to-face whatever battle or combat, but it's all what you do with your cards. So when you battle, you just control an area and the other army goes, but you've got your WMD cards, which is where the big guns come out, and there's some pretty mean cards in there, so this one's really fun.
Right, so what does this sort of bring out more of the political pressures you would have been under?
Yes, more political, and it's more just a sense of the Cold War and the narrative behind it and how that could have gone again. So
Awesome.
it's quite interesting to see it unfold. And it's tedious in the best way. It's a fun game. It's really fun.
Okay, so for Essen, these are going to be your two big releases.
Big releases.
I assume you're going to do big demo areas.
Demo areas.
Yep.
So we're going to have our booth. And we'll have Martin Wallace come in, and he'll be demoing Lincoln some of the time. We haven't got the set times yet, but we're organising that at the moment. And then Ian Brodie will be at the booth as well, demoing Cold War. And then when they're not around, we'll be demoing that as well.
All right, well, for any of our viewers out there who are going to be coming along to us, and do you know your booth number and which hall you're in? Not yet?
Sorry, not yet. I will let you know. There was a bit of confusion, so we're just sorting that out, but we should know soon. I've chasing them, so
oh, trust me, I know that feeling dealing with cons. Okay, so upcoming stuff then. So some new stuff that you have in the pipeline. What have you got for us?
We've got a few exciting things coming. So we've got a Kickstarter coming next month, and that's Battle Ravens. So I haven't really been involved in this one at all. So Dan Mercy, he works at PSC, and he's the project manager, and he makes sure everything runs nice and smoothly. It's actually one of his designs. So he's written a lot of stuff for Osprey. So he's really kind of well known in the war game, miniature wargaming as well. And this is his design. So this is just some of the concept art. But this is set in the Dark Ages, which is his favourite kind of time period, and one I'm excited to learn more about. And this is a board game, and it's worker placement, and you've got area control in there as well. And it's a 2-player game.
Okay, nice.
So this is really exciting. It's one that I've not really been involved with. It's kind of been Dan's baby. He's been secretly working away with it for a long time. And it's finally coming to the point that it's going to be a Kickstarter.
Awesome. Well, I mean, like one of our guys here in the studio, Lloyd, loves his Dark Ages stuff. So I think this is definitely going to be one for him to sink his little teeth into. Yeah,
and it's just a nice, obviously there are games about this, but the games that I play or the games that we make, or there's a lot of World War One or World War Two. So it's quite nice to have something very different. So it's going to be exciting. Can't wait for that.
Very cool. Very, very cool. All right. Anything else that's coming up and new?
Yes, we've got another game coming. So that's going to be coming in November, and that's Blitzkrieg. But it was Blitzkrieg 20, but we've changed it to Blitzkrieg now.
Gotcha.
Just very, very recently, just because it's a bit more snappy, a bit more fun.
Yeah.
And this is a 2-player, really quick 20-minute strategy game. These are some of the tokens and some of the art. And this is designed by Paolo Mori. So Ethnos and Libertalia, the designer of those games.
Yeah. Oh, no. Libertalia is an old favourite of mine.
So I was kind of really excited when I heard about this one. And it's a really 20-minute at the most, kind of quick, fun. It's not a war game, but it's got that theme, and it's chit pull. So you're pulling chits out of a cup, and you're placing those on a board and trying to take control of different areas, like area control. And then you've got nukes again, you've got missiles, you've got tanks. Really good fun.
Very cool. I mean, having a name like that on the team for actually building new games for you is incredible. Libertalia is an old favourite of mine. I even have the limited edition set with the metal coins, which just makes it so nice.
It's gorgeous. Yeah.
Overall, you're hitting some big places in history for this one. So I'm very curious to see how these new games play out. I will be keeping an eye out for them in Kickstarter. I'm sure we'll probably mention them on a weekend or whenever they're out and running. Katie, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's always lovely to hear what companies are getting up to, and Classic Soldier Company, is starting to come into its own for the board gaming world. So one to watch. And if you're going to Essen, make sure and check them out. We'll move on here. We'll see you again soon.
Thank you.
Hi guys, this is Radek from sunny Poland on a holiday, and you are watching Weekender. Cheers.
Okay, PSC Games is really intriguing me with some of the different historical eras they're looking at.
Yeah.
Looking at around the Civil War, I'm really curious about, because I love watching documentaries about the Civil War and the War of Independence as well.
This is the American Civil War, so this is ACW you're talking about, yeah?
Yes. So this is the American Civil War with Abraham Lincoln. I think Katie got to play it against Ryan. Stay tuned for that. But also talking about like doing Cold War stuff, I think it'll be right up your alley, Warren.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting a crack at that Quartermaster General, the Cold War myself. So.
Excuse me.
Now, both of those games are coming out at Essen, as I believe you guys said.
Yeah.
And you filmed the... we did get 2 Let's Plays, one
Yes.
of each film with Katie. They'll be going up in the coming weeks leading up towards Essen.
Yeah.
I know
Also-
Ryan really loved Lincoln. He had a great time with that.
Also, hearing about games that are going to be coming up from them, the Battle Ravens one, Lloyd loves his Viking stuff, so this could be again right up his alley. And Blitzkrieg, it feels a little bit more pulpy to me, so I'm thinking I might go after it.
Awesome. Okay, guys, I've got some big news for you today.
Uh-huh.
Right? I mean, really big. Drop Fleet Dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
Yes.
2-ups of Drop Fleet battleships.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I actually got to see these in the flesh at Gen Con. This is the Scourge one, and doesn't it just look horrifically pretty?
Oh, it's so nice. Justin, what size is it in the flesh?
It's about yay big.
Yeah.
Oh,
So they are seriously meaty.
oh.
We move on down to the UCM one. This is actually the smallest of them, and it was the first
I
one
think
they
the
released.
Sheltari
What
was
size is
small.
that?
Oh no, the Sheltari one they play with space a lot, so
Oh,
it's
yeah.
about yay.
Ooh.
We then move on for the.
Is it thick? Is it?
No, very narrow, very blade-like.
Oh, it's very blade-like, so not
Yeah,
short and thick.
and then you've
Okay.
got the PHR one. This thing.
Yeah.
Look at that front cannon.
That is a big ass front cannon.
Yeah.
What size is that one?
I can't recall. Apologies. We then have the Sheltari one, and that is not the smallest
I love
one,
it.
Sam. Look how broad that thing is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was broad, but it's not the longest.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But-
We then come down to this.
This is the
have
one I
not
want.
seen.
This is the one I want.
All right, be warned. It says on this specifically experienced modelers. Are you an experienced modeler, Warren?
Watch this.
Oh, that's some blue steel right there.
I'm an experienced modeler. I want this.
Yeah.
John is going to have so much fun putting this together for me. He totally will. He'll be on cloud 9. Please, Justin. This is about this size, is it?
I don't know. I mean, like, I know they did a 3-up of the... Oh, which one was it? It was one of the battleships. So similar
Yeah.
design to this.
Uh,
The 2-up was about yay long.
yeah.
Or sorry, the 3-up was about yay long.
Oh,
So
okay.
I'm guessing this is probably about this big.
Why would a 3-up be smaller than a 2-up?
I could
It's
be wrong.
maths. I gave up on this one.
He's totally melting my mind.
I'm kind of thinking like A4, A3, A2.
No, it doesn't work like that, man.
Are you sure?
Well, do you know what? I'm looking forward to seeing
Actually,
these things in the flesh.
Double the size.
Yeah.
So it's double the size of one of the regular ones, so it'll be about yay
All right,
big.
so it'll be about
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
size,
maybe
then.
6 inches
Yeah.
long.
Still cool.
I've got to say, we were talking about these earlier. My favorite so far. Oh, there's more.
Yeah, but wait, there's more. So there's some stuff for Drop Zone Commander, new UCM dropship,
Mhm.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a alternative version of the Condor, which has been designed as a heftier, bulkier model to work more in line with the UCM vehicles as a whole throughout the
Yeah.
range.
Mm.
So it's one that exists within the lore, but they've got it up for a limited amount of time at this point, and it'll be available more next year in 2019 as well.
Yeah.
This was one thing I always loved about Drop Fleet Commander was you got ships that were of essentially the same class,
Mhm.
but they had a different name to them, and it was just like, this is an older variant of this,
Mhm.
and here's the newer one that's mass released for the public.
Yeah.
Now, we were talking about these beforehand, and I think all of us chose the Scourge Dreadnought as our favorite. That thing is beautiful.
Why wouldn't you love the
Yeah.
Scourge Dreadnought?
Yeah.
My heart belongs to the Sheltari in Drop Zone and Drop Fleet, but that is such a beautiful sculpt.
It is an incredible looking thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
I do prefer the UCM though myself.
Really?
Ugh, I'm UCM to my core. Not that one. Go on. Keep
Okay.
going.
Okay.
Keep going. Keep going. That one.
I don't think you can play that in game.
I don't care. I want to live on it. That basically is as close to the awesomeness of Battlestar Galactica
Yeah,
that you're going to get on a tabletop miniatures game.
yeah.
Hey John, what's up? Oh, just making sandbags, doing my thing. Cool. You know that Warren's looking for you to do more ECM stuff? What does he mean he wants more UCM stuff? This is ridiculous. Do you even remember the last time that we tried all this? Do you even remember how many hours I put into it the last time? It was the most awful, terrible thing, and how dare you ask me to do anything like that again? This is ridiculous. I am going to walk away from this job, and I'm just going to just explode into a whole pile of little stars and become dust. Okay, John. Jesus Christ.
We have some Walking Dead news as well.
Yes,
so
indeed.
Wave 5 is now on its way.
Yep. So
Yeah,
tons of new stuff.
so this is Mantic Games looking further into the future and the story of Walking Dead. And this is them looking towards the Fear the Hunters expansion, which is the main set you get for this. All of the models that you see there are available as part of a bundle right now, but they will be available later in September separately as well, including some of the other sets they've got in there. So obviously you've got the Fear the Hunters set, which comes with new scenarios, new models, new characters, and new sort of mechanics thrown in there too. You've got Father Gabriel and Carl Grimes, Abraham and Judd, Rosita and Eugene, and Maggie and Glenn, who are mounted as well. Now, I don't know too much about Walking Dead, so I'm sure you guys are going to fill me in and tell me exactly what the Fear the Hunters thing is all about. But this all looked very, very cool to me and looked like a new change of direction for what's happening in Walking Dead, which is cool.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Very
it looks
cool.
absolutely awesome. Next up, we have Terraforming Mars, the Colonies expansion. Ben, what can you tell us about this one, man?
Yeah, so Terraforming Mars is a fantastic board game that is recommended by NASA, which is awesome.
That's a
And
cool
it's all about
recommendation.
you playing as different corporations going to Mars and working together, almost, to make Mars a habitable planet, while also trying to be the person that made it the most habitable the most times, effectively, right? So it's a fantastic game that blends a whole bunch of different Euro mechanics into the mix. You've got some really nice tableau building in there where you're drafting cards as well. You've got nice tile laying aspects to it too, and there's nice mechanics and engines that can get worked in. So if you like games like Trains, for example, you've got lots of things going on at the same time and you're building up a deck almost. You've got that nice element to it too, which is very cool. The expansion here with Colonies takes things beyond just Mars. Now, there are loads of expansions for Terraforming Mars already, but this one takes us to some more of the alien worlds out there in our solar system, looking at some of the moons of Jupiter and Saturn and such like that. And you'll also be able to set up new trade links and things to bring goods down to Mars. Plus, you'll also be able to play as new colonies as well. Not colonies. Corporations, sorry.
Yeah.
So there's a whole bunch of new options for people who want to get stuck into this. Now, I played the base game last weekend, and I only played the beginning game, and there were far too many options for me to get my head around properly anyway. But that's just the beginner game. There are so many corporations and everything in the base box, but this just feels like a crazy new extension to everything here. So if you've played everything from the normal Terraforming Mars, you can go and get Colonies and add this onto it as well. And as with most of the expansions for this game, you can bolt on one of them, two of them, or just all of them if you wanted to as well. So yeah.
Excellent.
Cool.
Yeah, I think this is one that would actually. I think it's called Cass's Eye when it turned up in the news flow as well. I can't remember if she wrote that one or not.
Yeah.
But I know her favorite game is Planetarium, so
Yeah.
I think this would be up her street.
Yeah,
Awesome.
one of the
Very
interesting
cool.
things about the game that's very cool is that a lot of the artwork in the game is considered to be quite poor, but it's all from actual NASA manuals, which is kind of awesome. So there's like pictures of dogs on weird worlds, but it's from like a NASA artist who's done it and stuff. So it's very cool.
Cool. Nice. We also have some new British and German HQ and support weapons. This is for your fighting in the desert.
So yeah, the guys at Warlock Games have put together a couple more additional packs for you to go and pick up. And of course, as Warren was saying there, if you're going to get stuck into the desert war with us, whether or not at the boot camp or at home over the weekend, you'll be able to go and pick these up very, very soon and get them for yourselves. There's a new HQ unit for the 8th Army for the British, and there's also one for the Africa Corps as well. Now, the one for the British really caught my eye because I love the normal general there with his cup of tea and his pipe in his hands. Very, very British.
Yeah.
And also the little guy who's feeding the monkey. Because it was one of those nice little moments that you see in photographs and stuff from World War II where it's not all doom and gloom. There were also some little tiny moments of hilarity as well in there, which is really nice. And of course, goes back to weapons. We've also got some great new kits for you to use alongside your infantry. So we've got a medium mortar team for each of the sides and also a medium machine gun as well. So if you want to throw those into the mix and, lay down some covering fire or blow up some foxholes, you've got some choice there too.
Yeah, the German stuff looks beautiful too, the Africa Corps. It just is just so full of character.
Yes.
I absolutely love them. What beautiful, beautiful miniatures. Freya Liggins. Is that how we pronounce that? Well, how do we pronounce that, Ben?
So that's Freya Ligan, who are also Free League Publishing.
Yeah.
They're the guys behind Tales from the Loop, which I know a lot of people really, really love. I know Lance is a big fan of it too. They've announced that they're going to be doing a new expansion that's also a little bit of a standalone. So it's an expandalone, if you will, for Tales of the Loop called Things from the Flood. And this takes things on to the next level. Now, in Tales from the Loop, you played as kids, sort of like around the age of between 9 and 12-ish sort of thing, a little bit like Stranger Things. Sort of going about your crazy business, a little bit like the Goonies. In this one, you're actually teenagers, and you could either have upgraded your characters from Tales from the Loop into this new 90s era, or you can play as new characters yourselves, and things get a little bit more deadly in this. Now, there's not too many details about this as yet, but they have said that in Tales from the Loop, there was very little chance of you dying whenever anything happened. In this, however, the peril is ramped up, and there are monsters out there that are going to try and get you. So your characters could die, which could lead to some very interesting moments there as well. But I can't wait to see what they do with this. Looks absolutely fantastic. Obviously, there's going to be an awesome Amazon show based around the idea of Tales from the Loop 2, which is going to be going up against Stranger Things, I'm sure. But yeah, this looks amazing. Can't wait to see what they do. I know some people have already been modding it. I think Lance has actually been doing like a Harry Potter-based roleplay using the Tales from the Loop system, which is very awesome.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
So yeah, very cool stuff from the guys at Freya Legan, and hopefully you get to see a lot more of it too, because their artwork is stunning.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Well, next up, we're going to announce the winners of the End Is Nigh Terrain Challenge.
Yeah.
So I'm going to step out and let Lance come in, and you can take over here. But before we do that, okay, I saw a really interesting thing on the topic of the end of the world.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
We could be living on a prison planet. Right? So do you know the way me and you, Justin, we are always talking about the aliens?
Yeah.
Yes, right.
Yeah, so hang on. You think the aliens put our ancestors here and we are the offspring of said prisoners?
Yeah. Here's the evidence for it, okay?
Right.
So some esteemed scientists in Kazakhstan discovered what they think is an incredibly complex mathematical code in our DNA that could only have been placed there.
Right.
That would never have appeared randomly.
Right.
And there's another writer. I hesitate to say scientist, but he may well be, who has a number of other reasons that lead him to the conclusion that our species was basically placed here in order to isolate it. Okay, because of our violence.
Well, if there are none of the materials available within our little corner of the galaxy to actually allow for faster than light travel, then yeah, that'd be effective.
Well, if you think about it, right? Some of the reasons he puts forward is bad backs. Okay, that we're the only species that doesn't seem like it's suited to actually live on this planet. So that as time progresses, human beings tend to get bad backs, okay?
Right.
And what he thinks that is that our species actually pre-evolved or evolved on a planet with less gravity. And that now that we're on this planet, the gravity plays havoc with our backs.
Right.
My counter to that is watching my own dog age.
Yeah, I was about to say that. I've had a few dogs that have got bad backs.
Okay, let's move past that one. Rhesus Negative. Okay.
Right.
So Rhesus Negative is something that apparently is only found within human beings. Okay. And it's a condition that can affect pregnant women. Okay.
I think we've discussed this
right.
before.
So pregnant ladies, if they're Rhesus Negative and their baby is Rhesus Positive, their body will actually attack the fetus to destroy it. And apparently this isn't in any other species on the planet.
Right. The Rhesus Negative, is it a genome or what?
Illness.
Illness.
Apparently, human beings suffer more illnesses more often than any other species on the planet.
That's someone who's never had to look after sheep.
Well,
and let's be honest, humans are the only ones who can control our environment to the point where we can actually decide to do shit that's not healthy for us.
Well, like, I don't often see a dog with a cold.
I have.
Or a bear with a sore head.
How would you tell?
How would you tell?
Yeah.
runny
Kill
nose.
you a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
I had a dog that had serious allergies, and she her nose swole up. It was the funniest thing. She looked like a fox.
She looked like a fox.
Yeah, it just swelled up in part of her nose.
Well, there you have it. So rather than it being the end of the world, we may already we
are the invaders.
We may well be the invaders. We may well be the ones to make it the end of the world. Because here's other couple of interesting ones for you before I leave. Okay. Mm-hmm. On Mars, apparently they've detected a large amount of radiation in the atmosphere that apparently only comes from nuclear detonations.
Right.
And there's a nuclear scientist himself that that wrote about this and says, I can only come to the conclusion that there has been a large amount of nuclear detonations on Mars because as far as we can tell, this form of radiation only comes from nuclear detonations.
Possible.
Isn't that awesome?
Is that the same
I
scientist?
didn't see that card in Terraforming
I did also
Mars.
see recently that they discovered liquid water on Mars.
Yes, they have. They have.
Which is very interesting.
And here's another interesting one for you. In the early days when they were doing their studies of the planets and calculations of the planets, the according to Newton's laws, okay, they expected to find a planet where the asteroid belt is. So it may well be a destroyed planet. And that's between Mars and Jupiter.
Yes,
I think it's well conceived. I think it's well documented that there probably was a planet there that was ripped apart, I think, by the other planets.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was a nuclear war between aliens, I don't know. But I know the actual science reason behind it, I think, anyway. Was that the planet's mass just ripped apart.
Here's what I think, right? And I'm basing this on scientific fact, right? Okay. There's no evidence for it.
Yeah, but it's
scientific fact.
If you want some evidence for that, give me 5 minutes. It's the internet. I can make something.
No. You don't need to. Now, I'm basing this on the absolute latest research based on the most recent research about humanity. I think back however many hundreds of thousands of years ago, okay, there were actually two branches of civilization. Okay,
get onto this
of human civilization, because this is the end is nigh. I should have been. If I had known this earlier, I would have entered this competition. So here's what it had: you had two human civilizations. One lived on Mars, and the other lived on what has become the asteroid belt. There was the left wingers and the right wingers, and they went to war. Okay. And they destroyed each other's planets, and then the aliens came in and said, enough of that, and they gathered them up, and they threw them onto planet Earth. And they basically said, you stay there till you learn to be good boys and girls. But 2018, our inner right winger and inner left winger is bubbling up to the surface, Justin. I think we could end up destroying each other again.
For ancient civilizations, you would hope there would be some evidence left of them somewhere, be it on Earth, on Mars, or in the asteroid belt.
Well, you think then if we were able to go and look at those asteroids or to look on Mars, we might find statues of Corbyn and Trump and the likes.
Hardly.
Yeah?
I would more think along the lines of, if this civilization was so advanced, you would perhaps hope that maybe there'd be ancient space debris, like satellites, things like that, even bits of them.
I have no answer to that. It's time for me to leave. I'm going to let Lance into the show. Good luck to everyone that entered The End Is Nigh. Looking forward to seeing how you got on. I will see you next week. I'll leave these guys to take you on the rest of this weekend's journey.
Hello everybody, we have some exciting news for you. This week on Beasts of War, we have a free rules download for Tanks Modern. If you have ever wondered what would happen if you faced off the mighty Abrams versus the magnificent chieftain, now is your time. Tanks! Lots of tanks! We need all the tanks. I stepped on your foot, but it's fine because there's lots of tanks.
It's over! It's all over! Oh god!
Relax. And we're back. I have magically turned into Sam. So we are joined by Lance and by a hysterical Justin.
It's all over now! No!
Calm down. I'm here
but the end
to
is
solve
nigh.
everything.
Yes.
Don't worry.
The end is indeed nigh. This is the end for The End Is Nigh Terrain challenge. It's
Yeah.
been a good one.
Yeah.
Lance, can you tell us a bit about how it's been going? Just a general overview.
Yeah, because you know nothing about it, do you?
No, I know nothing about this.
All I know is it's over, it's done, the end is nigh for the end is nigh.
I have had very little involvement with the End Is Nigh Terrain challenge. Warren just went, Sam, you've had more to do with this than me. No, I haven't.
I'm out of here.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the End Is Nigh Terrain challenge happened from start of June to the end of August, I think, or
Yeah.
start of July. It was in cooperation with Foreground, and we were giving away 4 prizes, 4 £50 vouchers from Foreground, currently sponsored. We had the categories of Best Idea, Best Tutoring, Best Skill, and also Junior Beast.
Yes.
So what we were
Although we do
using...
need to change that now from Best Junior Beast.
Why?
Why?
Because we're now on
'cause
tabletop.
we're now on
Ah.
tabletop. Well, we can figure that out at a later date.
Yeah.
That's future Lance's problem.
Yeah, and he's going to look back and go,
Yeah.
past Lance was an asshole.
So what happened was we needed to use the projects, and we thought what better way to use them is to use the voting system, because all the votings are all
Yeah, the
totaled
ratings.
up and tallied at a maximum value.
Yeah.
And that's how we got our winners. So shall we announce the winners?
Yeah, I think so. We've got a bunch of links here.
Uh-huh.
I am just going to let you two steer on this.
Okay, so the best idea
Yes.
overall was the Apartment Street by Wilco92.
Ta-da!
Let's take a look at
Congratulations, Wilco92.
this. Oh, that is nice.
This
We'll
project
scroll down
was
through. So this is a 3D
phenomenal.
printing project.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go on, Lance.
What happened was throughout the whole entire project, he didn't really want to do hobby, as in like building and scratch building and stuff like that. So he decided to print it out himself, get his 3D printer out, and do everything from there. He asked questions on how to build the street. We even said back to him, like you can see there on the road, we weren't a big fan of the tile system, and he took that advice on board and went a different route entirely. We were talking about all of these in the Hobby Hangout, so if you want to go back and check those out, we can see like update discussions. You can see all his like painting references and stuff, and the box of 3D printed stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, you can really get an idea for just how involved this project was.
Yeah, so like he's going to be playing this with Batman, but we were talking about like this could be used for a variety of many things, because like you have your cars here. Would you see
Oh, you
this
had it
here?
in cars, yeah.
Oh yeah, would you see the cars here? Keep scrolling, Justin. So see that black van?
Yeah.
See
I'm
what
kind
it-
of getting a little bit of an 18 vibe from that.
Oh no, it's not 18.
No.
Don't you worry. It's something even better. Keep scrolling and you'll soon see.
Keep scrolling.
Um,
scrolling,
Wait, go back
scrolling.
up. Go back up 1 second. Just one. There's one title I spotted. The back alley. No, Warren, no!
Oh, God.
So always trying to get some innuendo in there.
Now, this is quite a long project. I will say,
I
well
think-
done for the amount of
Oh,
work.
wait.
There you
There we go. Look
go.
at
Mobile
that.
Media Unit. Oh, it's the Beast of War Mobile!
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's got the OTT logo, too.
Yeah.
I love it!
Oh,
So
and
That's
the police.
amazing.
So we thought this would be a great scenario if you had like the new, say, new Walking Dead
Yeah.
or new Kingdom Death video
Yeah.
out on the Beast of War van, or maybe some new GW sculptures that have never been seen before, and the police are out to get them, but it's your job to go and try and catch them. Either you have the moral choice of like go and save them, help them out, or maybe try and capture them for yourselves. Who
Numbers
knows?
of components, though. Wow, the amount of work that went into this.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
is
This
crazy biscuit.
really impressive piece.
Mhm.
And then I love the fact that he has took a pre-printed mat for his actual street layout,
Yeah.
because that just it gives you an easy backdrop for everything.
Yeah, I believe
Unless
that was
you
one of
focus
the
on other
questions
stuff.
as well in the project of, should he print out his own road or should we get a mat? And I think the majority of the
Mat,
comments
definitely.
were definitely
Yeah.
for the mat. Definitely works well, and
Yeah,
everything
and
is
more
modular.
reference images is
Mhm.
very, very good. He's done a lot of work on this.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Can we go down, see how the
Let me bring Ben up for a second, and I will scroll
Ben.
down quickly to the end of this,
Uh,
just so I don't make people sick.
Ben, what did you think of this project overall? Because you've kind of been checking these out along with the
Yeah.
Hobby Hangout with us.
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. It was really good following along from this. We had like a period where I didn't think it was all going to come together quite well in the end. Like I thought it was all going to just be basically a box of bits, but he managed to bring it all together very, very nicely in the end. I think one of the key things for this is that it's very, very much a modular and sort of generic system of terrain. Like as you've talked before, you could use this for a range of different apocalyptic scenarios. Like obviously there's a whole idea of playing this in something like a superhero game, but I love the idea of this for something like Walking Dead, because especially with those buildings where you've got the different layers to them, and you've got the back alleys and stuff as well, you've got really nice places for little sort of bottle points for the zombies to sort of splurge into, and the survivors to try and keep them at bay and stuff as well. So it's a really, really nice little piece of terrain that's got lots of fantastic ways to play around with it. And obviously the finish to it is really good as well. So a very, very cool idea for somebody to win the best idea for that. So
Yeah.
Sweet.
Excellent.
Congratulations, Wilco, for that.
Well deserved voucher.
One bit of trivia I'd like to point out that if I hadn't been fair and give prizes to other projects, Wilco 92 would have won all of them.
Except for Junior.
Except for Junior.
That one's well, no.
That's
somehow
fair
he'd
play,
have won Junior.
So
Somehow.
Wilco had the most voted project out of them all. So fantastic! Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
However, I was fair and I picked out the next highest rating for the next project.
Wilco 93.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is best skill. So who was our winner for it?
So best skill, we coming from one printed terrain project, we went to another one, and this is Tom D, the crashed vertibird for the Fallout universe.
Oh, let's see how you went with this.
And we actually have one of these in the office as well.
Oh yes, I've seen this one knocking around the studio. It's a very cool looking terrain piece.
So I'm going to assume he's going to be using the Fallout Wasteland Warfare rules for this in preparation for the Fallout Modifius Fallout. But the whole Crash Vertibird, like, it was just a fantastic little piece because, I mean, in Fallout post-apocalyptic, I can't imagine very many air vehicles would be still running around.
Well, no, there are quite a few out there for the Brotherhood of Steel, but if anyone out there has played Fallout 4, you will know just how often those things get blown out of the sky, and then you see the wreckage. It actually breaks up when it lands in-game into sort of the segments that we're seeing here, so I'm super, super impressed.
And there's lots of scenarios that you could do with the Crash Vertibird as
well.
Yeah.
Maybe they were transporting back a piece of technology. You're maybe going to get the holotags of your fallen brothers.
Yeah,
definitely.
That is a very cool cool project. It shows off just how well they brought this whole thing together, and it does definitely fit with the End Is Nigh. It is good to see something straight up post-apocalypse.
Yeah,
definitely. The thing that was really good for me from seeing this was the fact that it combined two different styles of technique. You've obviously got that newer 3D printing side of things, which is really cool and nice to see, but then also some very traditional terrain making skills as well. So the way that the basing went together, how the sort of vines creeping through the craft have been put together as well. So it was a nice mashup of different ideas and stuff, bringing together a very nice final piece. So yeah.
Excellent. And now the next one was for best tutoring. So
yes,
who got this one, Lance?
So this was basically, didn't have to be the best skill or best idea, but it was best documented and shown the best promise for teaching someone.
Yeah.
And this one was for the Hammerhead in his Deadlands Apocalypse End Is Nigh project. And this this is a project which I started off, whenever we went through the hobby hangouts, I looked at this and was like, this is going to be a good project whenever he's coming back from like Poundland or B&M, your local Walmart, with
your
a bag
$1
full
store.
of skeletons. As soon as we saw that...
Don't the best things in life start off with the words, a bag full of skeletons?
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, wow.
Have a skeleton party, why not? But this was built from a bag of skeletons, built up with foam terrain, MDF, and just random bits of like bark and
cork and stuff.
That is a brilliant idea.
Very well laid out, and I love the progression of steps that he's doing through this to actually show you how to get each effect and explaining the different tools and stuff that are being used, the different components. Very, very well laid out.
So even though I said like this was best to teach other users.
Mm-hmm.
There's no denying that there's a lot of skill and idea behind this as well. So the competition for this whole End Is Nigh.
I love this entry. That one entry is fabulous.
Well, we all know that frustration.
Oh yeah.
I think Ben, he was talking about that this has kind of like an Indiana Jones feel to it, and totally agree.
Yeah,
It's got that really nice vibe of like an old 70s or 80s album cover or something you would have seen in He-Man or a Saturday morning cartoon. And just, as you say, the amount of skill that's gone into all those different levels of tutoring, taking us through the different ways that he's tearing apart the skeletons and putting them back together, the way that all the foam was cut, how he was using the adhesive to bring it all together as well at the very end and stuff. So, and this is just one of the complete terrain pieces that he's been doing for this range, because as you look through, he's got loads more planned. So hopefully this project continues and we get to see what everything else looks like towards the end of it as well. So,
Excellent.
Now, I have Lance telling me to scroll up here. What are you hunting for?
I just want to show off the finished piece there again.
Oh, right. There you go.
Okay, let's bring this up.
Bye-bye.
So what?
There it is.
Like, if you don't have the minis on there, it looks quite small, but you can really see the sense of scale on this.
Yes.
Very well done. Very well earned.
I would love to see that on the tabletop.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, we have the Junior Beast.
Yes, and if this wasn't for the actual Junior Beast, this is also Wilco's project as well. So technically he does get the Junior Beast as well.
See, I told you. Somehow Wilco's getting the Junior Beast. I told you.
He's not cheating, don't worry. It's Wilco's cousin, Holly, who absolutely adores horses, and he helped her along this project for
Wait, go back up there, let's see.
Wow. Alright, so I'm guessing this is Holly.
Yes, this is Holly.
No, that's Wilco.
Oh wow, that's nice.
Yeah, so it was really impressive as well, because like in the top picture, like she's got a handful of horses.
Yeah.
She used those as inspiration for the horses from, I want to say Wild West Exodus, but I think it was
Black Scorpion.
Yeah, Black
Tombstone,
Scorpion, and
wasn't
there's the horses there that she painted.
Yeah,
that's
really
very
cool.
good.
Yeah, and I think her whole idea was the idea of this sort of branch out there in the middle of nowhere in the Wild West that's been taken over by the undead, and so it's like an undead haunted ranch, which I thought was a really cool idea. Sort of putting a little bit of a spin on the idea of the End Is Nigh, but also bringing in something that she really loves as well, which I thought was a really nice touch. And yeah, as you see, it's really nice to see her going through loads of different
Just there, Justin. Go up a second. She's using a glue gun to make water troughs.
That's a cool idea.
That is good.
Yeah. As I was going to say, she's using lots of really interesting techniques a lot of people should actually learn when they're making terrain, so that they can do stuff for all manner of different genres. So if you want to learn lots of interesting ways to get not just sort of fields and stuff as well, but also things like water troughs and that kind of thing too, this is a really, really good idea for you to go and get stuck into this one and see what you think. So
Very cool.
It all came together very well at the end there.
Yeah.
So that's it. 4 very well deserved foreground vouchers, and they were some incredible terrain pieces. I'm not the biggest terrain buff, but seeing stuff like that makes me want to give it a go, which is of course the point of the project.
The whole point of the Terrain Challenge was to get people involved in the project system on the new Beast of War site, soon to be on tabletop. But it was we encourage you, if you finish your project, keep going, because someone else is actually currently going. I think it was the All Is Dead one. It's one based around a cemetery, and they're still going, and it's absolutely fantastic just to see how it's continuing on from there.
What I'll also do as well is I'll link down the sort of progress article that we put together for the End Is Nigh, so you can go and see some of the other projects that were brought up as well, because we've had a really good time talking about them on Hobby Hangout, and it's been absolutely fantastic. So it'd be really nice to go and check out some of the other ones as well and just see what you think of them too, because there are some really fun ideas out there, including one that's got a very awesome looking sort of realm gates for Age of Sigmar. So go and check that out.
Oh yes, I did see that one. That one caught my eye.
Yeah, so a huge congratulations to Wilco92, Tom D, Hammerhead, and Holly, Wilco's cousin as well. If you want to click down at the bottom of the footer, you can claim a prize for that foreground voucher.
Excellent.
And as always, I am trying to work through the prizes as quickly as I can. Unfortunately, I'm super busy, so I'm doing my best, folks. But if you've got your claim in, don't worry, I will get to you eventually. You will get your prize.
Yeah, we'll get there. Okay. now we move on from the end of the world, because you have to move on from the end of the world, and on to Kickstarters.
All right, now the first one
Yeah.
is Black Hollow's Townfolk. Now we
Yeah.
covered this last week.
Yeah, I remember editing this.
Yeah.
but
Why are we going over this again?
Now the reason we're
Because,
going, the reason we're going to show this one is because not 5 minutes after we stopped filming, we received these.
Ta-da! Look at this.
Oh, is that why these lovely ladies are at my feet as well?
Yes, indeed.
So this is our barman, looking absolutely incredible. I can see they've overscaled some of the details on him just because of the shrinkage that you're going to get whenever you make this a 28mm mini.
So these are like the 3-ups of it. Yeah.
Kind of. These are not a production piece. These are something the folks that have been creating this Kickstarter have sent out to people. But the character in some of these is absolutely gorgeous. I want a few of these for my home, for my mantelpiece.
That one is a particularly characterful piece.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Bookends.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can imagine him turning up in like a game of Fable, as I think we talked about that in the last one. But we do have two other figures here. If you want to bring them across.
So we have, I believe this is the milkmaid
I believe so.
carrying a pail of milk, which actually has some ripples in the water, which is quite cool.
Well, not water if it's a pail of milk.
Well, milk, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, the design, the character is all there, and even right down to the scenic basing being scaled up. And she's wearing clogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Fantastic.
and alongside her, we also have the Druid.
Yes. So this is the Druid, very mystical looking. Again, scenic base. And just quick turn around everything. You've got all the little pouches and stuff, and she's holding mushrooms. The details on those mushrooms are actually pretty impressive.
Yeah. Now, of course, these are
These
top
are-
heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
Let's
actual,
just say that it's not one bale of
the
milk she's
anatomy,
carrying.
the actual posing for the anatomy. I mean, like this one in particular with the hip kicked out, it looks as if you might need a decent chiropractor after you're done standing like
Yes,
this.
I actually did try to mimic one of these poses.
Yeah, and you kind of hurt yourself.
Yeah, I did. You had to have the hip jutted out as far as
Yeah.
it possibly could,
And
then
just
twisting.
contorting.
Yeah.
Oh god, that hurts.
Twisting your spine back in line so your hips are back over your feet, and then thrusting out your back as far as it could go as well, while keeping your shoulders in line with your feet.
Hot damn, you look sexy right now.
They are very cool looking miniatures. There's a really nice
Yeah.
characterful style to them. I will give them that.
Yeah.
And actually getting these sent out to us is a bit of a treat, because I would love to have Roman paint the big guy. I think it could
that
make
would
a
work well.
really cool tutorial.
Yeah.
In terms of large-scale miniatures for an actual Kickstarter campaign, they don't do them this big, as we've said, but they do them in 75mm if you want to get yourself something for like a hobbyist or a painter. So
Yeah.
you do have that
So
option.
that would be these.
These are great for just games of D&D, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Oh my god, that blacksmith.
Yeah, a lot of these villager models are absolutely superb, as we discussed last week. And I believe, Ben, you said that they are. I know you said this last week, but you said they're going to move towards making a game with them as well.
Yeah, so the Black Hallows Townsfolk at the moment are going to be just effectively used for whatever kind of games you want to play, be that skirmish or role-playing games. But yeah, as I was saying last week as well, but I'll reiterate it too, they are going to be doing a game in the future, which will be set in the world of Black Hallows and sort of involve these characters as part of the story. So it's going to be really interesting seeing how this comes together. I really like the idea of them going down the route of something a little bit more like Solomon Kane than a traditional sort of skirmish game, where these characters are there for you to interact with and talk with rather than just fight around as well. So it'd be really cool to see how it comes together.
Yeah, I would go something along the lines of maybe Fabled Realms, actually build in some narrative mechanics to the game for actually interrogating like locals and stuff.
That's what he was.
Yeah,
just saying,
anything that tells story would be a great idea.
Yeah.
So
He was saying for Solomon Kane, I'm thinking Fabled Realms.
I think he meant a game in that style.
Okay.
But yeah, some excellent stuff. There's still 22 days left on that Kickstarter, so if you want to head over, go check that out. Following on from that, we have the Kickstarter for Nanty Narking. Now, of course,
This
if you
is
watched
fabulous.
last week, we had a quick discussion with Phalanx. But Ben, if you want to take us through the Kickstarter, because I know they've done some interesting stuff with this one.
Yeah, sure. So this is the game that's up there at the moment, Nanty Narkings. We did a Let's Play of it earlier in the week as well, so there'll be a link down to that in the show notes for you to go and check out. Very, very fun game to go and watch. Really awesome there. But yes, Phalanx are on here with their 2 to 4 player game, which is based on the old Ankh-Morpork game that was out there. I have one of those on my shelf, and I know it's worth a lot of money now.
Me too.
So awesome. But anyway, games last around 90 minutes, can take a little bit longer than that as well. And the whole idea of this is that you're going to be playing as different characters from the world of Victorian London, each with their own aims and sort of ideals that they want to try and fulfill. But all these are secret identities that you don't know from the other players. And you'll be playing out to either fulfill your secret identity, or if you're someone like, I believe it's Sherlock Holmes, trying to end the game as well, which is pretty cool, by letting everybody run out of cards. There's been some massive upgrades to the game since it was Discworld and Morpork. They've included some lovely, lovely plastic miniatures in the game now as well, which is really cool. And one of the it is you there on the screen. Actually, I forgot to say, but yeah. And one of the other awesome things about this Kickstarter is that it's actually going to be narratively driven. Now, one of the big things that's sort of tied into this as well is that the game's stretch goals as part of this Kickstarter campaign aren't going to be for adding on ridiculous expansions and stuff like that. This game is going to be centered around just improving the quality of the game that you get at the end of it, which is really awesome. So you're going to have some upgraded components, things like that thrown into the mix too. But all of these are driven through a narrative campaign that is driven through their update system. Yes. So you'll be able to go over to there, read through the story, and based on the decisions made by you as part of the community and the things that you unlock as you're pledging for it, you will unlock different avenues and different rewards for doing so as well. So you'll get really awesome, nice stuff, but you'll also tell a great story at the same time, which is very, very cool.
Now, we do actually have another link for that update, so we can take a look at one of these. The narratively driven campaign expansion structure they're using. So if you can just bring it up for us, Justin?
See if I can find it.
This game just reminds me of Letters from Whitechapel.
In that, here it is. Yeah, I see.
So yes. I believe at the moment they've actually gone through, I think there's 4 episodes planned out, and it all flows through different ideas for different characters. So, for example, the first one is the case is bigger than it seems, and it follows a mystery. Then you've got The Last Kiss, The Funeral of All Hopes, and then finally 221B Baker Street at the moment, which has been unlocked. So there's really nice drawing on all these different characters, and of course the rewards you get for unlocking these are all going to be tied to them too, which is really nice. So for example, for Sherlock Holmes, there's an alternative personality as part of this if you get through that part of the story campaign, which is really cool. So, yeah.
That's a really cool
I would love
idea.
to be able to play as like Moriarty. Oh no, actually, that is one of the rules.
No,
it is.
Yes, it is. Yes, in the expanded rules for it. Yeah, you can play as Moriarty. I do love the idea of them doing this this narrative driven campaign. I don't know, it just feels more satisfying as you unlock each chapter of it.
But it feels right for the way the actual game plays out and the actual strategy and tactics that you have in it. Like, this is a deep strategy game if you're playing, because you're trying to deduce who your other opponents are playing. Like, if you watch the game we played, I started out as Fagin, and I was a little bit gung-ho with it, and they pretty much figured it out. So I was trying to redirect, going, no, it could be him. He could be Fagin. He could be Fagin.
And he failed.
Yeah.
Until he drew the one card he really needed and managed to swap his personality.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde!
Yeah. Which is a very useful card. Back in Discworld at Morpork, that was Zorgo the Retrophrenologist. So a troll who hits you on the hammer hits you on the head with a hammer to adjust your personality. But
very cool.
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, they have put some thought into how they've transferred this all across, and it really does fit.
Yeah, you still have all of the actions you could play in the Ankh-Morpork game, but just with this beautiful Victorian style game now.
Yeah, I mean, you said it reminded you of those.
Do you think they'll adapt future themes in a couple of years' time?
I would love to see like a sci-fi version of this.
Yeah, with the success of Ankh-Morpork, and with this clearly.
It's funded. Well. It's funded.
Yeah, I can maybe see like what if there's you take it to like America or like an Eastern style board game of it.
I know someone in the comments on I think on the Let's Play said they'd like to see one set in Paris about that time, and there's lots of literary 19th century characters that they can draw upon for there. A lot of I think Edgar Allan Poe's work is set around in Paris.
See, I would love to see like a sci-fi one done in like the Star Trek universe. Could be very cool, because then it's the different star systems, and you're sending your fleets out instead of your agents, and then you're building like star bases or colonizing planets.
Yeah, Ben, what were you going to say there?
You could also do it based in sort of like a cyberpunk world as well, where each of you is taking on the personality of a different corporation, so a sort of shadowy corporation figure in the background, and have that kind of play out across the city. Yeah, that'd be very good for something like Netrunner and stuff. So
yeah, there's a lot you could do with it.
She didn't say Lord of the Rings, Ben.
Actually, yeah, you could. You could do it as long
Yeah,
as
well, you could. It's a great game with a lot
Burrows
of
and badgers.
the political machinations of burrows and badgers. I love it.
Well, no one knows what's happened to the king in that world, so that could actually be tied into it. Oh my god.
Oh,
We've just blown Ben's mind. Okay, moving on for the last one, we are going into sci-fi,
Yes.
and this time it's with Arcadia Quest from Simon.
which is ridiculously well funded.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Ben, can you
so-
take us through this?
This is another one of those big Simon Kickstarters that, as you can imagine, is completely well funded, as Justin was saying there. It's a sci-fi take on one of their old games called Arcadia Quest, and it's set within the same universe, but just shunted forward thousands and thousands of years, basically. And this is a game where you take on the role of a heroic crew of individuals. So it's 2 to 4 players each time you sit down to play, and it's a little bit like dungeon delving, but in space. They've done some really awesome stuff with the idea for the chibi characters in this game, and the monsters are looking absolutely fantastic too. When I was seeing some of the previews, I wasn't entirely won over by the sculpts, but now I'm seeing some of the stuff now, I'm really kind of taken by it. One of the big things that I've always looked at when it comes to these kind of chibi games is that I've always kind of seen them in a bad light. I've not really enjoyed the look of them. It takes a lot to sort of push me in that direction, but I think that sci-fi and this sort of over-the-top style to everything really, really works for what they're trying to do here with Arcadia Quest. It's kind of what you'd imagine a dungeon delving adventuring game to be. You sit down to play through a number of different scenarios, you defeat all the monsters and you get the loot and you go on to the next one. But there's a whole bunch of extra mechanics thrown into the mix too, and they've upgraded on what's happening with Arcadia Quest at the same time. One of the really awesome things about it is there's lots of sort of ways that the game can change mid-mission, which is really awesome. So there's lots of ways for things to get alerted and things to appear on the board that you didn't expect and stuff too. So it throws a couple of spanners in the works and means that you actually have to work together as a team to try and achieve your objectives, which is really cool. But of course, being a Simon Kickstarter as well, they've also got loads and loads and loads of stretch goals, loads and loads and loads of extra characters, and loads of expansions as well. So if you wanted to have something that basically took up your entire life for the next decade, this is probably one of those Kickstarters you want to go and check out. Unless you've backed another Simon Kickstarter, in which case you probably need to finish that one before you jump on this one.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Very cool.
future life, Ben. Future life.
Now, I actually did get a quick chance to see Arcadia Quest while we were at Gen Con, and the whole setup looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I have a soft spot for chibi. I kind of like that chibi look.
I'm not a fan of chibi.
Yeah?
I don't know. Like, some of the Arcadia Quest stuff does look pretty interesting, but it's too cartoony for me. I think it's not something that I would enjoy.
See, I would love to see someone take a chibi game and just do it as a purist sort of anime style.
But what about you, Ben?
I was going to say, actually, I was more or less on the same lines as Lance with this, that I didn't really like it at all. But after watching Final Space, I really kind of liked that kind of quirky cartoon look to things from Netflix. So this has kind of been appealing to me. I think I'd want to get it just to paint the miniatures, though. I don't think I'd want to play the game. But maybe someone could win me over in the comments and tell me what they think of Arcadia Quest and what they think of this one as well. But yeah.
Well,
See, I actually like this like chibi art style that big companies are going for now, like the new Lionel. Who is it? Ben, can you help me out? It's the lion. It's the guy from the 80s. It's the cartoon from the 80s.
Thundercats.
Thundercats.
Yes. I never watched it as a kid, so. But it's been revamped into this like kind of chibi style, and it looks really good.
Oh, really?
But some of the hardcore fans absolutely hate it.
I'm not surprised.
But I think chibi works for this new like cartoon animation style. But I'm not won over with minis.
Well, if you want to get some tips on painting chibi, I think Roman painted one recently. Has that gone out, or is that to come out?
That's went out.
That's went out. So if you're
a ninja,
he did paint a ninja recently. Chibi ninja.
It was Link from Legend of Zelda.
No, then there is a ninja waiting to go.
Okay, then there's a ninja waiting to go as well. But if you are a Backstage subscriber, do check out Roman's 3 colors up painted tutorials. They're very good and well worth watching.
They do exist. Roman still exists.
Yes.
We still get comments on YouTube saying, "I miss Roman." Like
he's there.
We have a painted tutorial from him weekly.
Yeah,
not a lot of
that's
people know
for people
that,
who only live on YouTube. Come across to ontabletop.com/beastsofwar.com. You will be able to find him in Backstage.
Ben, what were you saying there?
was going to say, not a lot of people know that Raman's actually a shapeshifter, and when he's not here in the studio, he's still actually here. He's just morphed into a paintbrush that John uses every week for his live streams, and that's why he's so good, because Raman is still there painting. So
Yeah.
Wow.
Raman, the magic paintbrush.
OTT facts.
If only Terry Pratchett was still with us, I'm sure he'd write a book like that.
He did write a magic swords that would just argue with you. It was Kring was wonderful. Okay, that is it.
Yep.
The end is nigh for this weekender. Thank you all very much for coming aboard. Now, before we go, we do have some competitions to talk about. First of all, if you go back to last week's weekend, I meant to mention this during Nanty Narkin.
Yep.
There is a prize of a pledge upgrade for Nanty Narkin being given out. So if you go to last week's weekender, leave a comment on there mentioning your
backer
number.
Now, once you actually have pledged on the game, you go to manage pledge, and that is what gives you your backer number. You must be a backer at the end of the campaign to be in with a chance of winning. If you're not, we will simply redraw and give it to someone else.
Yeah. And of course, for this week, we have the awesome prize from PSC Games of Lincoln and Quartermaster General, The Cold War. Now, those aren't out yet. They will ship those out after release at Essen.
Yeah. I do have a question for everybody, just to help them comment a little bit.
Yeah.
What era of history would you like PSC Games to visit for a board game?
Ooh, that's a good one, yeah. So drop that in the comments below here at OnTableTop.com or beastofwar.com.
Yeah.
In the meantime, thank you very much, Ben. Thank you very much to Justin.
Mustard Justin, hello, bye-bye.
Mustard Justin.
Mustard Justin, that's what you said.
I say thank you very much to Justin.
I heard Mustard Justin. I don't know.
Everybody
maybe I'm
loves
going down.
mustard.
Thank you very much to Lance.
Thank you.
And thanks to Warren, wherever he ran off to.
He's in the ether.
Yeah. In the meantime, if you want to see more of us talking about all the games we love, come on over to Backstage tomorrow where we have our XLBS. And this time we're going to be joined by Cass, another member of the crew,
Yes.
and who is talking about her latest article. A
Okay.
very interesting piece on games and dating and
Ooh.
how games can be used to help build bonds
I'm
between
intrigued.
people. It's a very good topic.
Okay.
In the meantime, guys, thank you again, and we'll see you in the next one.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now, and be sure to check out beastofwar.com for the latest gaming news and gaming let's plays. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.